I would like to ask Ames to introduce herself and then Darren as well.
Hello, my name is Ames Allen and I work with Greenbrier. We are a development partner that has been hired by Roland Park Place to work with them on this amazing expansion that Becky will be talking about in a bit. So we help guide the process of what it takes to expand and redevelop and reposition and basically take a current campus and add independent living residences, and how the timing works with folks like yourself who think that this is a great plan for the future, and then help to get those folks all moved in.
Darren?
Hi, I'm Darren McDonald. I'm one of the sales associates here at Roland Park Place. I spoke to, I think, all of you yesterday or the day before. So thank you for coming on. And hopefully after this presentation, you'll want to come in and have a look around Roland Park Place, and you can just reach out to me and I'll reach out to you and we can set that up. So I look forward to seeing you again.
Great, thank you. So I'm going to share my screen. See if this works. I do. Do you see my screen? My PowerPoint?
Yes.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you. You'll forgive me, my technology skills are average at best. So we'll work from here. But as I said, I'm Becky Bees. I'm the Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Roland Park Place. I've been at Roland Park Place about 16 years. So I just was a wee little baby when I started here. Let me see if I can, oh, here we go. So we're going to talk about, you likely received a mailer and maybe even some pie, where we're going to talk a little bit about the slices of a secure future at Roland Park Place. So it's just really a framework for us to be able to talk about all the things we do, all the reasons that we think this is a great plan for folks like yourselves. So, I mean, one of the biggest reasons that people look at continuing care or life plan communities is the financial security and the predictability of understanding what your future looks like. So Roland Park Place is currently all what we call life plan, life care community, where we have independent living and you would move into the community while you are independent, and you get to participate in all of the amenities and services and just wonderful conveniences that we offer, but also the knowledge that if your future healthcare needs change, that's all covered here at Roland Park Place. You're not then looking for, well, where am I going to go if I should need assisted living? Where am I going to go if I should need memory care assisted living? Where am I going to go if I should need skilled nursing or even short-term rehab after a hospital stay, maybe orthopedic surgery, something like that. So that's all here. We have independent living apartments, we have assisted living apartments, we have memory care, neighborhood, and then skilled nursing for short-term rehab and long-term care, all here under one roof. And so I'll talk a little bit about how that works for an individual in terms of fees. If you're an individual, your monthly fee that you pay in independent living follows you all the way through, no matter the change in your care needs. It's a little different with a second person, and when you talk kind of about your own personal situation with Darren, he'll be able to kind of walk you through what that looks like for you. There is also, because part of what you're paying for when you come in to Roland Park Place in an independent living setting is that part of your monthly fee and a portion of your entrance fee, which I'll talk about the fees a little later on, is considered a prepaid medical expense, because what you're doing is partially paying for any future healthcare needs. So where that can come in handy, and it really depends, of course, on your own tax situation, is that you often can take a pretty sizable tax deduction um, for prepaid medical. And definitely talk to your financial advisor or tax consultant for more detail on your specific situation. But we can also provide some of that information on how much of your monthly fee would be considered a prepaid medical expense each year. So a lot of people really see that as a great part of their future financial planning. The other piece of that is really around long-term care insurance. So for some folks, they say, well, I've got a long-term care insurance policy, so I'm not considering life care. And ultimately, what a long-term care insurance policy does is provide you with options, right? So you may have a home health element, so you can stay in your independent living apartment, participate and take advantage of all of the social and community benefits of being in a community like this. Or if you move through to a different level of service, then a good chunk, if not all of your monthly service fee could be reimbursable to you through your long-term care insurance policy. So again, that depends on your policy, but those are some of the kind of, I really jumped in with the dry stuff, didn't I? But I'll press on to the fun things, I promise. But it is a good place to begin, because it is one of the primary drivers for a lot of people on selecting this type of community. But the real benefit is really in the lifestyle. So as I'm sure a lot of people are having a deeper understanding of now, really folks that in every age group of what it feels like to be a little bit separated from others and a little less a part of the community. The real benefit at Roland Park Place is being a part of the community, is all the conveniences, the meals that are included, the housekeeping services that are included, having your bed linens changed, the transportation to medical appointments, which is all included, but really the resident association, the opportunities to get involved, the programs and events that are really robust at Roland Park Place, both on campus and off campus. So we really do create our own little community and are very connected to the community outside of Roland Park Place. So trips to museums, trips to the theater, being nestled in this part of Baltimore City is a real advantage as well. So what we find, especially right now, for folks that are really kind of isolating a bit from the greater community, even now during COVID, we've got so many opportunities for folks to be engaged safely and interact safely with one another, and having all of those safety nets, as well as the fitness center, the classes, the communication and the connection that's created by being in a community like Roland Park Place. The intellectual stimulation, I think I touched on a little bit. We have a number of lectures, musicians that come through. We have a lot of resident participation and engagement in our committees and in instructing the types of programs and events at Roland Park Place. This is an intellectually curious group. And during COVID, we've actually been able to take advantage of some of the expertise and interests of the really quite extraordinary residents who live at Roland Park Place. And so they've been conducting some resident-led lectures as well on various topics, psychiatry, ancient Egypt, poetry reading, which is actually the poetry class is a regular part of our schedule, even though even during non-COVID times. But we really do have a quite culturally rich program of events. So, and when you talk with Darren, he's happy to share with you if you don't already have one of our calendars, which is a little modified during COVID, but is really intended to keep you kind of firing on all cylinders. And if there's something that you see that's not there as a resident when you move in, raise your hand and say, this is something that's interesting to me. There are always really opportunities to expand. And part of what we're launching right now is our new wellness program, and sort of focus on individualizing some of those programs and events for residents. I talked a lot about our group of residents that we have here. They're really interesting people, and the biggest draw, I think, is really the other folks who live here. So it's important to know that you're going to have some things in common with your neighbors. It is a small community, and so it's sort of a very intimate and close-knit and very warm environment. It's a little trickier now. Normally when you come through on a tour, you really get to see kind of what's happening and all the vibrancy. But even when there's limited smaller group activities going on, you really do, as soon as you walk in the door, I think, feel the sense of warmth from the residents of Roland Park Place and from the staff. And that is something that that I think you would still feel if you did come to visit and experience Roland Park Place on a tour. So a little bit about where we are. We are on 40th Street, sort of at the edge of Roland Park in Hamden. So we've got a lot of exciting things across the street at the Rotunda, moms, food trucks, farmers markets. We're in a walkable neighborhood and a really vibrant part of the city, and close access, close proximity to all of the exciting things that happen in Baltimore. And we think that's a real benefit. We are city people. We like the city. And the peace of mind that I talked a little bit about with the financial peace of mind, but I see that Jennifer LeBute joined us, and Jen is our Vice President of Health Services at Roland Park Place and Nursing Home Administrator. And she is the lady in charge of making sure that we are all really safe during every day and pandemics too. So we're really testing her, but I can share a little bit about what we are doing. We have had some positive cases of COVID, but I think and that is, a reflection of the community that we're in. But the benefit that we have, which is sort of unique and just kind of the timing for Roland Park Place, we just completed an extensive 2-year renovation of all of our common spaces, all of our care spaces, as we have been launching our expansion. But in doing that, we added a dedicated memory care neighborhood at our assisted living level. And as we reduce some of the occupancy to be able to manage renovations and moving folks around, to be able to offer this, as we just opened that memory care space just a little about a year ago, a little less than a year ago. And so we had some space in our healthcare center. So we were able to, as COVID came upon us, to dedicate an entire section of our skilled nursing that is secure and separate, and dedicate that to COVID for observation. If someone goes to the hospital, they can return and remain isolated from the rest of the community, and they have a dedicated nurse who's not caring for any other residents while they attend to that resident. So for residents who have, especially for those who have had to go in and out from the hospital and experience a higher level of exposure, we've been able to really safely care for those residents, as well as protect the rest of the community from exposure. So our numbers have been pretty low. We have really an extraordinary staffing level in our care areas, and so we've really been able to meet this head on. We have had and maintained and have been prepared with the personal protective equipment. We have emergency preparedness plans. We have all of these things in place, and every one of us, Darren and I, as well as Jen, can attest to every year we have training and education, whether we work in the care settings or not, on proper hand hygiene and airborne illnesses and all of those things. So we are very well prepared for situations like this. We still hate them. We still don't want them to happen, but we are prepared. Any questions on that? Well, I've got Jen, and I'll keep talking. I will. Okay, so talking to that's sort of some general information about the community, and I did want to kind of give you a sense of what we're doing now, because we did complete those renovations, added an arts and education center, added a theater, added the memory care, have really rearranged the whole community, updated dining spaces, added a brand new pub, which we have not quite had a chance to open, but it's ready. And so a lot of beautiful things in the existing community. And so the next piece is working on the expansion piece of the community. So we do have availability in both spaces, one in the existing building where you certainly can move in the next 8 months if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for something that's a little more open and you're not looking in the next 8 months, you might be also considering the expansion apartments. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about those, particularly the expansion, where you can secure a really great apartment, and then think about moving later when we're a little further along in our pandemic recovery. Just round the corner.
Did she freeze? I'm not sure if Becky froze.
It looks like she did freeze.
I'm like, it's either a very
No.
long pause or.
I'll send her a quick little text.
Okay.
I could run over there.
Okay, Darren.
Sometimes that happens, everyone. It's, whoops. Make sure. Log off and log back on. So give us a moment.
She's gonna hop off and hop back on. She's gonna hop off and then hop back on. And if not, she can come over here.
Yeah.
She's right next door.
Sometimes you don't realize it froze and you're talking and talking.
Right. You're in a groove and you just keep
Right.
going.
Otherwise, Darren, you can jump in.
Excuse
Yeah, I
me,
can jump in.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you give me an idea of how long the presentation takes?
It should be over by 11, depending on questions and things like that, but no later than 11.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah,
It's usually,
about 45 minutes.
yeah, about 45.
Yeah.
Can you hear the music?
No.
Oh,
you-
okay.
Are you playing music?
I'm not, but my husband is a PE teacher and he's teaching online. So there's,
Oh,
he gets the kids dancing that way.
oh, that's cool.
It's hard to do PE on Zoom.
I'm sure. Let me go see what's happening. Hold on.
Okay. Here she goes. She's just coming on. There we go.
There she is.
Hi.
All right, let's see.
You paused it right the exact moment, and so we weren't sure if you were pausing or we lost you or
Yeah, I meant to do that.
yeah, we'll break.
Okay. Hold on. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
I apologize. I'm gonna blame the wind.
There you go.
Anyway, what was I saying? Okay, so talking a little bit about the expansion that's going to be opening up, and I was going to the next slide, and it works. So just an example of an apartment that's available in the expansion, the Wickford. And actually, I'll put Darren on the spot and let him talk a little bit about this one. This is the 8th floor and is available, right?
Sure. Yeah, it's on the 8th floor. It faces, you see that large balcony, and it has panoramic views of north, south, no, I'm sorry, north, east, and west. So you're going to get sun all day long. And you walk into the apartment. You have a nice little foyer there. And then you come on through to your dining area that opens into your spacious kitchen with a nice peninsula there for seating. And then that opens into your living space. And it also has a den right off of your living space. Now the balcony, you go right through the dining out onto your large balcony. This is probably the largest balcony in the expansion, and it's on the 8th floor. So the views from that balcony are going to be outstanding. You're going to have beautiful views from that, you know, sun from all directions. So that's a prime apartment. It does have a powder room and 1 bedroom with a large walk-in closet and your bathroom with double sinks and a nice shower in there. So a large bathroom in there. So this is a beautiful apartment with very large windows also that go from floor almost to the ceiling. So large windows all around. So you know, the views from your dining area face into our beautiful courtyard. And then the views from your den and bedroom face east. So you're going to get some nice morning sun in there. With, again, I can't stress enough that the views from that apartment are going to be outstanding. So if you're looking for a nice 1 bedroom and den, the Wickford is the apartment for you.
And this one is one of a kind. So
Yes, it's
this is
the
the
only
only one
one.
like that. So there are some, the apartments beneath that are a little bit of a different floor plan. So this is one that we all really love. That's why I'm sharing
Yeah.
it here with you. But so it's sort of a moderate size there as well. And I do want to share with you, we will make sure if you don't have them already, Darren will make sure that he gets to you all of the pricing and floor plans for all of these apartments, so you can kind of go through it and see kind of what makes sense for you, if what's in your range, what fits your needs, that sort of thing, so you can start to put your plan in place. The Overhill is the largest apartment in the expansion, and this is also the largest, equivalent to the largest in the current building. So about 2,000, a little over 2,000 square feet. This is a south-facing apartment. So this corner, which I think doesn't, this floor plan kind of view doesn't give justice to, is really all windows. So you get a really beautiful view here. And we do have some availability here with the Overhill as well. So this is a 2-bedroom and a den, balcony. The lower floors have an additional balcony along off of the bedroom, and a separate laundry room. This is a nice big apartment. Do you want to add anything to that, Darren?
I'd like to add that there's a separate laundry room also. So that's a nice feature as well. So just from looking from the construction right now, because they are on the 7th floor of the construction of the expansion, and these apartments are very, very big and very nice with, again, wonderful views facing south. So we got the opportunity to walk through one on the lower floor, and it is a very nice apartment.
Now, in this space, these are on, as we mentioned, on the south side of the expansion, and these are on the 2nd through the 7th floor. So the first floor within this space is a really enormous art studio. So if an art studio is something that speaks to you, it's really quite a beautiful space. And then on the 8th floor, this space is occupied by a club room or social room. So on the 8th floor, you're going to have beautiful views of the city skyline, be able to see out to the harbor, and it will be a great place for viewing the fireworks, not just downtown, but kind of, I think you can see them in Catonsville. You can see them from pretty far away from this space. So very sunny, beautiful apartment.
Yeah, and on the 8th floor, the club room, just a nice area if you just want to go down and read a book in the club room with those beautiful views. You can see it in this picture. It's at the top with all those wonderful windows. That's where the club room is. And then right below that, as Becky said, are all the Overhills that we just showed you.
Yeah, this gives you a good sense of the windows in the corner of that Overhill apartment, and bedroom windows, bathroom. So there really is a lot of beautiful sunlight here. So 58 new apartments total in our expansion, starting at 888 square feet and going up to the Overhill, which is a little over 2,000 square feet. Open kitchens, lots of beautiful sunlight. So a great space in these new apartments. The social room we talked about, a 4th floor terrace. I'm going to show you a little rendering of that as well. Some nice outdoor space. 4 levels of parking garage. So we have an underground level, ground level, and then 2 additional levels of parking, and that you can kind of see on the side here. So really convenient to these new apartments. And then the art studio that I talked about. So this is the 4th floor terrace, and you can kind of see looking into the courtyard. This is the Wickford, the apartment we talked about that has the 3 exposures, west, north, and east on the other side there. So a nice sort of step down into the courtyard and where it connects with the existing building. And this is really a beautiful space, a lot of landscaping planned for that terrace space as well. And this is the view that we had a look at. So talking a little bit about just a general overview of the fees. at Roland Park Place and how these work. So, so when you move in, there is an accommodation fee or sort of larger entrance fee up front. A lot of people will utilize the sale of their house to fund that. And we can share with you, if you're looking for information on the real estate market, what we've heard from our partners at Moving Station is really a lot about how houses are really selling. People spending a lot of time at home and finding that they'd like to upsize as they spend more time in their with their family and would like some separate spaces, but that they also are selling much better when they're vacant. So so happy to share information there as well. But accommodation fee, there's the traditional contract and the refund option contract, and there are two under the refund option. So the traditional is where you would pay your accommodation fee, and the amount that's refundable to you declines over a 60-month period. So after 5 years, there's no refund on that accommodation fee. That comes with a higher amount of deductible prepaid medical expense the year you move in. The other option is the 90% refundable, which is a higher accommodation fee, but 90% of what you pay is refundable to you when you've left Roland Park Place and your apartment has been reoccupied, so that you know the fixed amount that comes back to you or to your estate, to your heirs. Under the refund option, we have two different price points, one where the monthly service fee is in line with the traditional plan, and one where the refundable option is a higher, the accommodation fee is a higher amount, but the monthly service fee is a bit lower. And when you meet with Darren, you can talk with him about your own personal situation, and he can kind of walk you through how that would look for you in your situation. And then you and your family or financial advisor would decide which option makes the most sense for you and for your family. The monthly service fee is independent from that accommodation fee. And so a portion of that, again, is considered prepaid medical expense. And you can deduct a portion of that, but that also includes so much, both between future medical care, transportation, programs and events, services, amenities, fitness. There's an awful lot that is included there. And Darren can also share with you when you talk sort of the breakdown of all the things that are included at all the different levels of service at Roland Park Place. So there's quite a lot.
Yes.
And so really the next piece is talking to you about how you can be a part of this, and we can be a part of your plan, either for the near future, the very near future, or the distant future, whatever really works for you. So we do have priority member benefits that we offer to those folks who are depositing early enough in the process on an apartment in our expansion. And so these are limited to the expansion apartments that are not finished being built yet. But there is a 5% discount on the accommodation fee. And as you can see, that can add up to quite a significant savings depending on which apartment and contract type you're selecting. 2 months free upon move-in. So as we open next August, you're not looking at moving until, you know, a few months after that. So a lot of extra time to kind of make those decisions and move at your pace to prepare to move into the apartment, but also an opportunity to reserve the apartment that really is best for you. For a couple, we do have $100 a month lifetime discount on the second person monthly service fee. So wherever those fees are, you're always paying $100 less a month than your neighbors. And then up to $5,000 in complimentary moving support services. So whether that's your mover or move manager, downsizing specialists, we can provide some assistance with those expenses as well. And then not during COVID, when we are opened up, and that varies at different times, you do have access to our events, our meals, and other benefits. But our depositors right now are getting our daily memo, and they also have access to all of the online lecture series and events that we're Zooming within the building. They have access to all of those things that are still happening right now. It's a little better when we're open, but we'll get there. And then why deposit now? I've touched on this a little bit, but your deposit is refundable if you decide, I love that Wickford, and I'm gonna put a deposit down and then think about it for a little bit, just while it's still available. You can certainly do that and change your mind and get 100% of that deposit down. What we ask for is 10% of the accommodation fee on that apartment as a deposit, which provides you all of those benefits and provides you securing that apartment while you make your final decision. We do have some, as I mentioned, exceptional floor plans that are still available at this point. So really in a variety of ranges. And then those priority member benefits that I talked about, we still have a couple of those available. We only have a certain number that we can offer that to that are budgeted within the program, but we do have some of those available. So there's still a chance to take advantage of those early depositor incentives. So next steps, talk to Darren or Anthony. Anthony is our sales manager who is not able to join us today. But the next step really is to make an appointment and be able to talk about your personal situation and how Roland Park Place fits into your plan. And that can be done in person. We are doing in-person tours, and we do have some safety protocols in place. If that's something you're comfortable with, we can also do virtual tours that Darren can take you through the building and look at the apartments you want to see, and also always phone calls and always, sort of one-on-one, just Zoom meetings like this, hopefully with a few less technical challenges than I've experienced. But that's really the next step that I would encourage you to do if you haven't received a packet of information, and if you haven't visited or talked individually with Darren. I would recommend doing that. And so I feel like I've talked an awful lot, but I could keep going for hours, as everyone on this team can attest. But I do want to hear if you have any questions, or if there anything that you want to ask me, or if Jen, related to any of the healthcare items as well. So questions? Nothing.